football is back.
It's the Manny Show. Touchdown.
S.J. Green, highlight machine.
BC Lions drive the ball 95 yards.
We got to keep going. We got to keep going.
S.J. Green, an absolute beauty. Unbelievable how good this guy is.
It is Thursday Night Football on TSN. Welcome as we get this week started.
If you didn't know, now you know.
Strong arm, touchdown, S.J. Green.
Waggle down, no Chris.
Back to Harris, breaks a tackle, spins, touchdown.
He is the CFL's leading rusher. He has 29 touchdowns in 32 career games at BC Place. He's trying to keep things going for the BC Lions and extend the misery of the Montreal Alouettes, who've lost 3 close ball games and have not won a game in this stadium since 2000. Trying to turn that around tonight as we say hello and welcome you to Thursday Night Football on TSN. I'm Rod Smith, and here is the panel of Milt Stegall, Matt Dunnigan, Chris Schultz for a game of 2 teams under 500 right now. The Alouettes, pretty good 2-5 team. They have had some close defeats. The Lions coming off a miserable loss in Hamilton where they were defeated by 30 points. But they are a different football team when they get home at BC Place. Matty, what are you watching for in this game?
Well, I'm interested in watching Rakeem Cato go out and do his thing again. I think this is a quarterback learning on the fly. He's making young mistakes, but he's played well enough to win. His teammates around him, he's got plenty of weapons. He's got to utilize them, and they got to come up with big plays when they have that opportunity and the ball comes their way. I'd like to see them run the football more and have balance, take a little pressure off the young quarterback. You know, get Rutley involved, and I absolutely love what they have, the ability that they have up front with their offensive line to run the football. Got to get a little more of that.
Yeah, well, I'm kind of see if these BC Lions defense, if they can put some pressure on Rakeem Cato. Just looking at the film last week, you saw what Edmonton was able to do when putting that pressure on. But these BC Lions are last in the league with only 13 sacks. I think they have to change their philosophy somewhat on defense. Be more of a pressure defense, not a nickel and dime defense. If they can do that, they have an opportunity to win in this game, Chris.
Milton, a ton of pressure on Rakeem Cato as a quarterback. He was an unknown commodity in Week 2 in the Canadian Football League. Everyone knows about him right now. Edmonton showed his vulnerability. BC will watch that video and question, do we have the players to have the same style of defense? He has trouble in terms of producing touchdowns from the 55-yard line in. 16 times he has been on the opposing side of the game. On their side of the football field, he's only scored 1 touchdown. Montreal is a team, low time of possession. Rakeem Cato needs a good game, and without Solomon Elimimian, if there was ever a game to do it, Rod, this is it.
Yeah, and I look at the history, 2000. No one's around when this drought starts. I do often wonder, though, what that does play in the minds, if at all, of the Alouettes. There is something definitely heading west, having to take on the Lions at BC Place. Terry Moore of Kamloops, she could win the ultimate $25,000 home theater package from Visions Electronics if a kickoff is returned for a touchdown in today's game, thanks to Safeway's Touchdown to Win promotion. And if a second kickoff is returned for a touchdown in this game, you could also win $1 million. Chris Cuthbert and Glenn Suter are standing by at BC Place for the call of this one. The Lions back home to take on the team that knocked them out last November, the Montreal Alouettes. Kickoff next in Thursday Night Football. Enjoy the game, everybody.
Week 9 kicks off from Supernatural BC with a rematch of last year's Eastern semifinal. And 2 teams hungry to get back in the win column. The 2-5 Alouettes against the 3-4 Lions on Thursday Night Football.
Tonight we feature 2 leaders in the Canadian Football League at this point. In receiving yards, it's S.J. Green in his 9th season out of South Florida. On the other side, the leading rusher in the league at this point in the season is Andrew Harris of the BC Lions.
Jeff Tedford's crew are on a short week, licking their wounds after a humbling loss in Hamilton that dropped BC to 0-3 against the East, while Tom Higgins' Alouettes have lost 3 in a row, and of their 5 losses this year, they've come by a combined 15 points. And they bounce back tonight in a building that hasn't been kind.
Oh boy, snake bit here. 0-13 in the Dome. Last win, 2000.
And yet one of the more interesting rivalries in that for the last 8 years, despite the lack of success here, they have split the season series with the Lions, and that kickoff will be an illegal bounce out of bounds and give Rakeem Cato good field position to start for Montreal.
Illegal kickoff out of bounds. BC number 3. Montreal elected to take the football at the 45-yard line. First down.
Rakeem Cato's completed close to 70% of his passes, but thrown a few too many interceptions of late, and his last game a season low at 178 yards passing. There's S.J. Green, who leads in multiple categories, and a guy who's returning to BC. 3 years with the BC Lions. Looking forward to watching Stephon Logan play on the teams tonight.
Just 190 net yards for Montreal, and a bad start here as Nick Lewis, and maybe more than just Lewis, jumped offside on the first play from scrimmage.
Offside. Montreal, number 8, 5-yard penalty. Still first down.
So it'll be 1st and 15. The Alouettes last in the league in offensive touchdowns with 11. 4th on the run, 7th passing team in the CFL. A play action fake to Sutton. And the catch is made by Rutley, and there is Adam Bighill now in the middle, taking over for the injured Solomon Elimimian.
Solomon Elimimian will be gone for the season for the BC Lions. It'll be Alex Hoffman-Ellis. It'll move to Adam Bighill's spot. Bighill moves to the middle. That's where he played when Solomon Elimimian got hurt a couple of years ago. And in the middle is Michael Brooks, who's 2nd in the league for defensive linemen and tackles. You know who's 1st? Gabriel Napkin on the other sideline.
So 2nd and long, and the wide side is picked off. Easy pickings. And a touchdown for BC and the veteran Ryan Phillips. 5th career pick 6. And just like that, the Lions are up.
He gets on the board, missed a couple games out of the gate due to injury, and the veteran of 11 years, Ryan Phillips, comes up with a big play, and I don't think Rakeem Cato ever saw him. He jumps this coming downhill, and it looked like he threw it right to him. Intended target, Alex Charette, took off down the sideline. Communication issue, possibly between quarterback and receiver. Either way, Ryan Phillips is gone.
Interception number 41 in his career has an exclamation mark.
RP, Braylon, Dealer, everybody lifers, love y'all.
49-yard return for a touchdown. The Lions saw some returns for touchdowns against them last week in Hamilton. It's a lot better being on this side of it. What a start for BC, and a tough one for Rakeem Cato as he pops up his 7th interception of the year.
A big start for BC Lions team coming off that loss to the Hamilton Tiger Cats. And take a look at Rakeem Cato just staring down that wide side throw to Charette. And if you stare down in his own defense, a receiver like that, a veteran DB will make you pay for it.
22 giveaways by Montreal's offense so far this year. Gets into the hands of the leading receiver, and S.J. Green lunging for an extra yard or 2, and he'll get 9 on first down.
Rakeem Cato's just got to settle down a little bit. This has been an issue for him over the last couple of weeks as teams have got their playbook on him, their scouting report on Rakeem Cato. They've made some adjustments, dropped more players, made it more difficult for him, make him read the defense. And you take a look at the difference between his first game and his last 3, and the teams have a book on him night and day.
2nd and 1, and Terrell Sutton will run for the first down. And that was a point of emphasis from Tom Higgins to improved first down production because they were getting in second and long consistently against Edmonton.
Yeah, and I agree with Matt Dunnigan, who before the game in the pregame show said that he still is playing well enough to win. There's just been a drop-off, and maybe the biggest is 4-2 here in the first three, 2-4, the exact opposite, TDs to interceptions in the back three. Teams are playing him different defensively now that they've got a book on him. He's got to now make the next adjustment.
First down, and tripping up was Brandon Rutley, one of two running backs deployed tonight by Montreal.
Yeah, according to Tom Higgins, that's one of the reasons that this decision has been made defensively with John Bowman, that Brandon Rutley and Terrell Sutton, they want to get on the roster together. And he told me before the game that tonight we'll see both international tailbacks on the field together at times in different play packages.
Rutley had 98 yards rushing in the Eastern Semi against BC. Second and long, they get it in the hands of Charette, who crosses midfield, but Adam Bighill will bring him down short of the first down, and the punt team has to come on for the Owls.
Leads the league in tackles coming in, having an outstanding season in the middle of a defense, in the linebacking core of a defense that has struggled this year. Hasn't got enough pressure up front, had some issues in the back end. Adam Bighill can sign his painting.
Horace Beatty angling the punt, and it will go out. Let's see where they mark it, somewhere around the 15-yard line, as the BC Lions get set to go to work on offense, and it will be from the 16. Andrew Harris looking for a bounce-back game after getting...
Helping communities build better places to play.
CFL on TSN is brought to you by Nissan, official vehicle of the Canadian Football League. Move the spot back to the 14. That's where Travis Lulay and the Lions offense will go to work. Lulay under 200 yards passing in 4 of his last 5 starts. And a handoff to Harris, trying to get to the outside. And takes a big hit there after a short gain. There's Kyler Ellsworth, the middle linebacker, and Harris a little slow to get to his feet.
Yeah, he was run from inside out to the sideline and then was hit and almost sandwiched between 2 tacklers. Simple sweep. Ellsworth
and Mitchell White, the corner.
Yeah, Mitchell White stepping into it.
So tough start for Harris. And 2nd and 9. 3-man rush. Lulay going to dump it off to Harris. And he'll get bounced immediately. There's Winston Venable, who leads the Alouettes in tackles. And it's a 2-and-out provided by that Alouette defense.
You know, it's a defense that has really done their thing this year despite 3 straight losses. You consider they're 2nd in the league in points allowed, under 20 points per game. So the defense has stepped up. They got Kyrisse Bear back. He's pursuing here. Venable steps up. Nice tackle to cut down Andrew Harris.
Big kick by Leone. And it's Logan. Up around the 40 before he gets driven back. Jason Araki downfield after a 60-yard boot by the big leg of Richie Leone. So the Alouettes get set to go back on offense. S.J. Green has a catch in this game. And the league leader in pass receiving yardage now around 600 for the season. Their MOP, Solomon Elamimian. Adam Bighill now the man in the middle. With more, here's Farhan Lalji.
Yeah, Kristen, even without the MOP, the Lions have no qualms about moving Bighill into the middle because of his versatility. Now, just how versatile is he? Well, consider that he also tries to dabble into some other position groups. He stole this T-shirt from the Lions receivers. They all have one. I believe this one is Sean Gore's, and the receivers didn't like it. He said, if you want it back, one of you's got to cover me. So far, none of them have been able to do that. Remember back in 2012 when Solomon Elamimian tried the NFL, Bighill played in the middle and played there most of the year, and he wound up having his best season statistically. And when they had to decide which player got moved back to linebacker, moved back to the outside, they moved Bighill back because of that versatility.
Everybody wants to be an offensive star. Terrell Sutton was on that last run. 17 yards for Sutton across midfield.
Well, that versatility they've shown all year long, and Adam Bighill has as well, because there's been at times Mark Washington will drop Adam Bighill back to the middle, and he'll play deep middle as a free safety.
Sutton comes into the week, third in rushing. Now they'll hand it off to Rutley, so running attack to chew up yards by the Alouettes. First it was Sutton, and now Rutley for 15.
Christian Matt's going to come around and get the pull here, and he's going to be the guy that leads the way. But this is what I'm talking about with the two import running backs in the backfield. Terrell Sutton gets a nice cut block at the point of attack, and it gets Rutley out around the edge. And they're going to both play together tonight at times and show production in this drive.
There's Alex Hoffman-Ellis in on the stop, but 32 yards on 2 running plays. And back to Sutton, who has a little crease off the left side once again and down near the 33-yard line. And 7 more for Sutton.
I mentioned this last week. Upside and downside for a running back when he's got another starting tailback in Rutley in the backfield, because and as a starting running back, you get your rhythm going in the fourth quarter, in that 15th carry, 16th carry. Now that when you split them, it's hard to get there. What the upside is you stay fresh.
Get into a manageable 2nd and 3, and Rutley close to the first down. You know, they're kind of going back to the way they started with Rakeem Cato. In fact, his first game as the starting quarterback against Calgary, Sutton 134 yards rushing to help a young quarterback. And it's going to be 3rd and short, so the jumbo team comes on.
Well, it makes all kinds of sense. I mean, first of all, production on first down when you can run the ball. It's a safer play. The coaches tell me in the past that when you throw the ball, 3 things can happen, and 2 of them aren't good for the offense: incomplete or interception.
Tanner Marsh had a pair of touchdowns in the Eastern Semi against BC. In short yardage, and a great surge there behind Luc Brodeur-Jourdain, and again the left guard Christian Matt able to plow away for the necessary yardage.
So the first thing that Brandon Rutley and Terrell Sutton had to do was be unselfish in the last couple of weeks, and they're going to leave Tanner Marsh in the game for a little bit of a series here.
So we would see a little bit of Marsh, who made his first impact in the Canadian Football League 2 years ago with that dramatic and thrilling comeback win against the Lions in Montreal, 39-38. And he'll hand it off on the fly sweep to Logan. And Logan wrestled down by TJ Lee. 9 for Logan.
A little jump in his step tonight as he took that sweep coming around the corner from left to right in your screen. Watch how quickly Logan gets those feet up and down. He's wants to have a big game against his former team. 3 years with the BC Lions. 6.5-yard rushing average when he played offensively.
Greg wrote down, it looked like he got blindsided by S.J. Green. Logan got a call in the offseason telling him that the BC Lions were no longer interested in keeping him around, so you know he is amped up for tonight.
You know, some players, when they're asked that question heading into the game that they'll play their old team, they'll say, oh, that's no big deal, it's just another game. Logan didn't do that. He came this week when he was asked it, no, I'm really excited. I want to have a big game against the BC Lions.
3rd in all-purpose yards in the league, so even at age 34, he's still got something left. David Menard comes in for Rowe, and it's 2nd and short yardage. This time behind right guard Philip Blake for Tanner Marsh.
Milt Stegall talked about it in the pregame show, but this has been the issue now for the Montreal Alouettes offensively. One of their Achilles' heels this year has been their red zone production, just 43%, 9 of 21 attempts inside the 20-yard line that come away with majors.
It's like Marsh might have lost a contact lens.
Got to find a way, get down inside the 20, come away with a major. Kurt Schoner taking a little bit of heat over the last 2 weeks because of it in Montreal.
8th play of the drive. And it's 3rd and inches. Better serves this time. And they'll get a fresh set of downs.
Last week, heading into that game against the Edmonton Eskimos, Tom Higgins said to us that we're going to start to see more of Tanner Marsh. He's been